Thanks for joining this session, Data-Driven Content Editorialization, Finding the Hidden Gems. My name is Ian Gray from MPP Global. I'm Head of Global Channel and Strategic Alliances at MPP Global, based in the UK. I'm in the northwest of England, a couple of 100 miles away from London, just near Liverpool and Manchester. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to some great guests on this panel from different parts of the world as well. So it's a good morning to Mauricio Almeida in Brazil. It's a good morning to morning Mauricio. It's a good morning to Antonio Calderon, who's in Miami, and a good afternoon to Casper Hald.
Yeah.
Who is over in Copenhagen in Denmark.
Good to see you, yeah.
Each of the panelists brings dare I say, a lot of experience, industry experience and knowledge to this session. We just heard from Geronimo, from Paul and from Gio about their observations in the industry over the month during the COVID pandemic, which changes some dynamics in the industry. From our experience amongst the team today on this panel, we'll be exploring how the importance of course, content. We heard Paul say content is king, and Gio said, talking about the importance of data. Both go together. It's so important to hear from the guys' perspectives on recent projects that they've delivered, and also other projects. They've been in the industry for many years, so it'll be great to get their observations and experience. At MPP Global, we monetize the content of our customers around the world in OTT, broadcast and sport and publishing. Content, yes, is king, but for us, it's all about monetization. So I'll be very interested to hear how Mauricio and Casper and Antonio, how the content is monetized in the market, and when they find these hidden gems, how that is maximized to their audiences. So just as a quick introduction, Mauricio, over to you first. Could you just introduce you and your company, Watch Brazil?
Morning to everybody. Thank you for the invitation. We are a streaming company here in Brazil, based in Brazil. We are doing a business-to-business based product. Here in Brazil, we have more than 10,000 small ISPs, and we are focused on that. But in the last year, we started a very big great project with you all. Is the biggest news portal here in Brazil. And right now we have more than 270 ISPs connected in our platform. We are providing SVOD, TVOD, and a marketplace integrated with others apps. Right now we are starting a new project with linear TVs, and we are doing so far so good.
Great. Okay, it's exciting times, Mauricio, for you and the team. And Casper, over to you. Just a quick introduction and Blockbuster name.
Yeah, my name is Casper Hald, and I'm the CEO of Blockbuster. And yes, it is indeed that brand. I pioneered the first TVOD service in Denmark back in 2005. I've worked with the TDC group since 2008. And we saw an opportunity of licensing exclusively the brand of Blockbuster, because there was a bit of a challenge trying to have normal subscribers figuring out what to pay extra for compared to what was in fact part of their subscription. So we thought that the Blockbuster brand would come in handy. Since then, the launch as an OTT service in 2015. We are now in all 4 Nordic territories. We have more than 1.2 million users for our TVOD DST service. And it's great working with some of the legacy brand value.
Great. Well, you know, it's a word, isn't it? You know, Blockbuster video. It's synonymous with the industry, so
it is. It's
good place to be.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's nice. So we're a strong supplement to all of the different SVOD propositions out there. So in average, our users, they use us twice a month. If they're in between binging something, or if they want to pick up a current release in the first window straight after the theatrical release, they tend to Blockbuster, and it's free for everyone. There's no subscription. So yeah, we feel that we have found our role to play in this busy market.
Okay, thanks, Casper. And over to you, Antonio. It's 3M in Miami. If you just introduce yourself and what the company's doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian, and hello, Casper, Mauricio, and everybody. As you say, greetings from Miami, the Sun City. So I am Antonio Calderon, CTO and co-founder of Stream Media. And what we do is, you know, have fun every day, you know, doing this. This is a fantastic and exciting business, but we focus on three main areas, which is distribution, engagement, and monetization for any content provider. We go with small, medium, and high broadcasters, traditional radio, TV stations, and anyone that also burn in digital. So that's the main areas that we work with.
Cool. Thanks, Antonio. So in terms of the session and driving data-driven video, and the link with hidden gems. I mean, there's I mentioned earlier on with data-driven, there's sort of intentional driven videos which work to a pattern, and then perhaps unintentional, some hidden gems in there that we can bring out and maximize to their full value. Looking to always, as you all mentioned, increase customer satisfaction, retention, loyalty, keep the service sticky, let's say. Looking at, so just come back to you, Mauricio, in Brazil, I mean, huge market, hugely competitive market. How have you gone about from launching this service and thinking about your client's business objectives, your UOL play? How have you gone about going into their catalog and building that catalog of services and taking that to market from day one? You know, what are some of the challenges that you found, and you know, how has it gone in actual deployment compared to the business objectives that the client set you from day one?
So yeah, as you mentioned, the content is king, but the delivery is the queen. As in the chess, the queen could go everywhere, but what to deliver it, when to deliver it, and where. So we need to know our public, our audience. We need to understand all their needs, the desires, get involved with this audience all the time. We provide 4 profiles simultaneously, so we need to know the subscriber and even all these other profiles that could be at same home. So we need to understand all of them. Video consumption here, we could understand that is totally connected with the habit, the experience, and more than that, the confidence with our product. And more our audience trust in us, they will follow our recommendation. So we need to keep involved all the time, asking to them what they are seeing and asking what they need to see. We use the search engine from Jump to understand what they are looking for that we don't have. So it's a constantly work to understand the trends here in Brazil. We are a very huge country, and we have very different audience depending on the region they are consuming our products. So we need also to understand these regions, what they prefer in each region. So understand their needs, stay all the time asking and interacting with our consumers to deliver what is relevant to them, because we are living the paradox of choice. A lot of things to be consumed, and we need to help our consumers to find the gems, to find more than they understand or more than they could find. We have to help them to find these gems that we have. You watch, we have more than 7,000 hours. And if someone consumes some comment, it's not it's not a trend that they will consume just comedy. We need to understand the moment, what they are doing at that time, who is there with this person, and suggest the best content for that moment.
And yeah, and you're building profiles, and Mauricio, you say you're building profiles of your subscribers, of your viewers, and it's purely technology based, or do you try to build a profile from the moment the subscriber registers for the service and signs up for the service, or is it purely technology driven?
Both. Of course, we use technology. We use all the data that we could collect, but we have a team that work with those data to create carousels, to create some lists to propose to our consumers. So we have both of them, because here in Brazil, the habit is not to follow the algorithm 100%.
Right. Okay, cool. And that's data driven, of course, but if it's purely algorithms driving the content, what are you saying? There's a personal knowledge and the regional. When you mentioned about the regions as well, there may be, and also I think the takeaway there for me, timing. The timing of content for one region of Brazil might be a little bit different to the content in another region. So I think that maybe it sounds like you are building in, yes, automation, data-driven automation, but also the facility for your team or the client to be able to add a local knowledge into the delivery of that content.
Actually, we have a curator team that understand more about these regions, because we have some content that is the same for everybody, all the country, but some specific content just works in one region and not in the other. So this curator team working, getting all the data that we could collect and understand all these situation, and understand what works there and not work here. And
okay, important takeaway, that the region element of a huge country like Brazil. So if I may just move over to Casper and look at Denmark, the Nordics as a region. Casper, I mean, I think it's fair to say early adopter region for technology, and a reputation for being very tech savvy, if that word translates, tech savvy audiences throughout Scandinavia.
Yes.
How have you, in that market, again, a massively competitive market, but working for a very leading company who've adopted video in the TDC group. You know, you've got fantastic reputation. You know, how has that reputation been met by personalized services, etc., to your clients? You know, how have you gone about that?
Yeah, I must say, working with data and advanced analytics is much more easy and accessible now than it was just 5 or maybe even 10 years ago. And I think consumers, they are aware of that, and they know, they kind of expect services to know who I am, and to some degree, of course, target the proposition that is being presented, and we try and use data in almost everything we do. As I mentioned, we have no subscription, and we need to be relevant for the users. They need to opt in on the service, and even to a degree where they're willing to pay and spend money for watching individual content. So. Yeah, I think we have succeeded because we have given it quite a segmented approach, not rocket science or anything, but we have done it, I think, smart, taking it with segments, and then try and use the data as making it as operational as possible. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So the user interface could be managed and controlled to a certain degree of data, the content presentation, and even in a fairly simple setup in the communication as well. CRM, you know, the emails are being built by blocks of content, which can very quickly be highly personalized. So I think we have done much more the last 1 or 2 years than even 5 years before.
And that engagement that you're talking about there, with this sort of feeling of Blockbuster know me, you know, they know what I like.
Yeah, I think we see it in the numbers. I mean, since users keep coming back and checking out the service, it's also because we have succeeded in trying to establish ourselves as some sort of a category owner. We have more than 11,000 movies alone. We have all the movies that you could think of could be relevant to watch, and even a lot of gems, even hidden and more visible ones. And I must say that we have been forced trying to deal with it, because post-corona here, we are lacking a lot of big theatrical releases, which for some of the other reasons have been postponed. And so we until 6 months ago, all of the premium current releases, they were often 30% of the transactions, and now we're crashing at 17% of the releases of the transactions, which are the current releases. So everything else is now library. So we need, and we have been forced to work with the library and look for the hidden gems and work with it. And it has also been fun, but to be brutally honest, I'm a bit uncertain if how long we can keep the show and the audience entertained here.
Yeah, I think if I may, I can come back to that after we hear from Antonio, because I think that's something which we're all faced with, perhaps in the industry with COVID, that effect of, you know, studios and production. It's, you know, it's a fact, you know, in terms of the amount of content, new content that will be generated. We maybe come back to that in a moment and
yeah,
about that. Just over to you, Antonio. I know that similar to you know, with Casper having an ongoing business, and that business being mature and always being innovative and looking for new ways to engage the customers. You and Mauricio have taken quite a significant client to market in the last 6 months, 9 months, and in your case, I mean, I remember looking at the details of your client. I think that it's something like 50,000 hours of content which you guys were faced with at Stream Media. It'd be great to understand how, again, in line with the objectives of the client, you you work out the content that's going to work in the market and generate success. You know, how did you actually plan that with the client and then ingest that content and then make a successful service of it?
You know, yeah, it's a great project. Just to little background about who they are. This was the most biggest TV broadcaster in Venezuela called RCTV. And I don't know if you remember, but back in 2007, for political reasons, the ex-president Chavez shut down this TV network after 53 years to be on the air. So imagine the quantity of content that they have. It's something incredible. So they came to us about a year ago to start with the idea to create their own OTT, as they have, you know, thousands of tapes with all that content. So then I started with a process to digitalize, you know, moving from the tape into digital, create all the multiple profiles for all the content, and start creating, you know, it's basically rescue all their content. But today, you know, their old catalog is the most important asset. So now they can serve again, you know, all the content, all the soap operas. Their soap operas were very, very popular worldwide, more than, you know, translated in more than 80 different languages. So it's very popular, and they produce 100% of the content. So imagine for 53 years, many programs with daily shows, they have thousands of episodes from just a single program. So what we did is, you know, created this platform where everybody is able now to come back, start watching, you know, those shows that they were able to watch at that time in Venezuela. This goes obviously to all the Venezuelan community in the country, outside the country. But with a good success, we launched the platform about 3 months ago, and they're touching 500,000 downloads. So it's getting a, you know, a good response in the system. Right now, it's completely free. You know, the customer is just trying to get as much as possible on customers, and they still produce some original content. And in the plans, they are planning to also offer the premium service with a very small amount. I think would be $3 per month, just to get access to some premium content. But as we know, you know, to have the subscription, it needs to have, you know, great value and constant content, right? That's the challenge. So right now we have 100% focus on all the old catalog. And apart, you know, from what we know about their personalization and all the AI and machine learning techniques, we believe a lot in the engagement with the audience. So we use a lot of tools that we create, like a chat. So now you are able to chat while watching a content. People comment when watching movies or soap operas. We also do a lot of polls, that we call inside polls. We like also the end users to interact with the platform. So they create daily user-generated content. We receive a lot of videos from the end users, either, you know, sending comment to some of the actors, or doing imitations, sending jokes. And then we use all that content, you know, to put it as part of the system, and you know, trying to create some type of social media experience apart from the regular content. And this is just to increase the engagement, right? To have the users connected into the platform, and obviously show, you know, advertisement in a non-intrusive way that we have, that it's called Inside Ad, where we show the advertisement separate from the main program in a non-intrusive way. So we use a lot the polls. 80% engage with this type of polls. So we get from firsthand what they like to watch, what type of content, which one is the most popular. We analyze also the chat in the communities, because remember, this becomes as a community, right? There's a particular group that like this type of content. There's another group that like this type of content. So we analyze and use also the chat to understand what are the channels with most traffic, with most comments. And then we use all this in order to present the proposal and type of personalization to the users.
So that 80% engagement through the chat is an incredible number.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, this is just because we see it, right? With the people, I don't know, maybe people want to to participate. That's why the success on social media, right? It's that interaction. People want to be heard. They like to post, to send messages, to share videos. And we are doing some type of hybrid with a traditional OTT platform.
But is that a like a first screen, second screen situation, Antonio, where you're viewing the content, but you're in a second screen situation for commenting and voting, or is it all in the same application?
Yes, some of the features you cannot get it on a bigger screen. It's just not easy or easy to use a remote control, right? For that type of, even today, it's quite a challenge to sign in on the TV screen. People don't remember the username, the password, right? So yeah, we use a lot the smartphone to all those engagement applications. And then obviously, the platform is available on all the different devices. But yeah, the engagement piece is where everybody is, which is on the smartphone.
Cool. So a bit like Mauricio with the regional aspects of the content and trying to profile users. You're very busy, never mind data-driven video. You're very busy looking almost like data-driven social and comments and engaging those communities, because I think direct to consumer, D2C is one way of thinking about it, but there's also direct to community. If you can, I guess you guys are looking to build a community who share what they like, of course what they don't like, but that's healthy. That's a good environment to be when didn't somebody say any publicity is good publicity, and any feedback you get from your subscribers is good feedback because engaging with the content. So that's an important sort of takeaway from me about data-driven video and the combination with data-driven feedback and analysis of the feedback about what works, what's good content, what content gets a like, what content gets a dislike, and feeding that back into your Mauricio, your algorithms. Is that something that works in Brazil then? Are you engaged? You've got some engagement with your customer base as well? Vote on content and to like and that sort of analysis.
Social media.
Yeah.
Because we are running a business to business model, and we have to work with the last leg, the business to consumer, isn't it? So we are working together, our community, the ISPs, and you all is part of that, working with them to collect all the data, to understand the needs of each company that are using our platform. So we are working together to understand and to collect all these data, because we have 270 Facebook pages, 270 Instagram, 270 all of the Twitters. So we need to put together all this information and get all this information and create scenarios or different scenarios that I mentioned about the regions to deliver what is relevant for those audiences. But we are seeing here in Brazil that all the comments that they do inside our community is not the truth. we are understanding that the comments that they are doing in the social media and all these groups they are participating, it's much more relevant for us. So we are using a lot of tools to get all this information that are mentioned, some contents that we have, to understand what is more relevant and what is not. But it's a very very huge ecosystem. So we need to keep together, to keep in touch with other company and with the consumers of this company.
Well, I think that, as you say, it's a huge community and a huge challenge, and not everybody is Netflix, not everybody is Disney Plus or Amazon Prime Video, but there are, and back to this, thinking about our session, there's content that works. Never mind international content that Disney Plus can suddenly launch Mulan and generate $270 million in a week. I mean, good luck to Disney Plus. But what about regional content then, and these sort of hidden gems, back catalogue for you, Antonio, and Scandinavian content as well for you, Casper? I mean, with going back to something Casper mentioned earlier on about the way the industry is right now with COVID, with lack of new content this time next year, for example, if the studios have not been churning out new content. And by the studios, I'm not just talking about the Hollywood studios. I'm thinking about all of the regional content studios that turn out. Look at Parasite, an Oscar movie which went global, made in South Korea. So how do you look into your back catalogue, and maybe one back to you, Casper, with 30% down to 17% of new release?
Yeah.
How are you leveraging that to actually monetize it now?
Yeah. So it's as I said, it's a challenge, and I could put it in another context. I would say we think we have a responsibility of educating the audience of all of the must-see movies, right? So we have all of the car chases, all of the kisses, all of the shoot downs, etc., etc., etc. And a lot of the younger audience, they have no clue. They are not educated in all of the must-sees, all of the stuff that have happened the last 50 years. But they are very interested in the new content being released, and for instance, Stranger Things on Netflix, that has a lot of 80s references, and what we have done there is that we have tried and positioned a lot of the reference content that could then be of interest to the new younger audience, and try to show them the real deal. And
with success in terms of that audience, because we know they have younger audiences, different generations. How successful has that been for you?
Yeah, but it's actually been very successful, because the young audience are open to see the new content, and they're open to have a look at something which might not be classical commercial stuff or from known franchises, but the older things that we highlighted have to have a certain quality, and we see that the younger audience, they might not be they kind of not, sometimes they don't understand the pace of the movies, and they think they're too slow, and they think the quality is too bad, and they have been well taught. Some of these people, they have never seen anything in SD, right? So yes, it has been a challenge, but it is about highlighting hidden gems or not. It is about highlighting the things that you find would be relevant for the consumers, and especially the local content. To the point we made earlier, it is very important, and luckily we have seen that the local production here is not as to a standstill in the way that we see it abroad.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's it. So maybe there's some Danish hidden gems on their way to Brazil and LATAM soon. You can start exporting.
Exactly. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's something which I know that this, from a soap opera point of view and things like this. Never mind the movies, Antonio. I mean, you're looking at your client there with incredible soap opera content and back catalogues that were maybe successful some many years ago, and you repurposed them and brought them right up to, you know, right into the market now. So how, in terms of taking that content to market, I mean, how did you decide that? Was that just again your client with the business objectives, or did you just test the market and put the content out there by channel and look at engagement levels?
Yeah, you know, on this particular customer, remember they really know their audience. They know what was the shows or the programs with more ratings, and something about they want to share with you that we learned about these polls, you know, surveys that we do inside the platform, is that people is looking when we launch, if you like, you know, what are you missing, or live or VOD. It's incredible the number of users that say that they would like to see a live channel. It seems people get sometimes, you know, lost while browsing and see, you know, even with the most sophisticated AI system and ML and machine learning, people want to see maybe one channel that is a pseudo linear TV channel. They just click and start watching the content. So we did an exercise. We have a VOD playlist in the cloud. So we are creating a playout based on their content, trying to simulate to what they have on those days. So with a program at 8 p.m. will be this show. At 9 p.m. we'll start this soap opera. And we launched 2 channels with them. And there's a lot of interactivity with those channels. People is clicking a lot on those channels. I don't know, maybe because it is easy not to think too much, just click on it. And also because people still drive by their life, you know, life is still very strong. And so we are testing and doing an exercise with those 2 channels, and also doing still some rotations. We see also what's trending into the system based on the number of channels. We have obviously the like and dislike. So based on that, we use also as a tools in order to, you know, what's next to watch, or because you watch, you know, this soap opera, you may like this one as well. So yeah, I mean, this is an experiment, right?
Yeah.
This is still a work in progress for everybody. So no rules.
No, I think that's true. There's no rules, and you know, from where we were 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 5 years ago, I mean, things are constantly changing. I think that's a great rule, Antonio.
Yeah.
No rules. Anything, as long as, you know, it's legal to do so, and we've got regulatory requirements as well to think about, which they've got to move with the times as well, I guess. But there's no rules from an OTT perspective. Just one thought on the, we mentioned before about finding hidden gems and then monetizing the hidden gems, and the likes of Disney going out and charging $30. Well, you know, and I said good luck to Disney. But in terms of anything we can take away from that, under a subscription or a premium, we're hearing the word, you know, the premium video on demand, SVOD, PVOD. TVOD is something, Casper, you've been, you know, you're in the TVOD and rental market. Is there a lesson learned from what Disney experienced, or is it in terms of being able to charge that premium for a certain piece of hidden gem? Never mind, and excuse me, Casper, the Blockbuster release, but the hidden gem, which suddenly becomes almost like a collector's item. Yeah. Is there a premium you can charge for that?
Yeah, I think so. We have had through the years a dialogue with the community that really are fond of horror movies, and the community, Heaven of Horrors, they are diehard fans, and they do a lot of research, and we have no problem in getting recommendations from the fans, what about this title, or what about this, and we're lacking this, and this can't be found anywhere, and hey, if you got this, we think this has an audience. And it's the best recommendations from the fans. So when we then, with the access to the libraries we have, etc., if we get titles on board, they're celebrated as if it's a new current horror movie that has just been released, and especially if we can get some restored version, that's just great stuff. So I think coming down to the payment willingness, I think also related to the premium point you mentioned, I think there's definitely a willingness to pay for the content, which is just something that you wanna see here and now. Other challenges related to that, but we can dig into those later.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm conscious of time, gentlemen, in terms of of where we are with the session, and there's another session rolling in 15 minutes. I'm just checking on any questions on the chat, the Slack channel, etc., from the audience. But as a final point, as a final takeaway and I know we could talk all day about hidden gems and monetizing hidden gems from video. Is there one particular thing that you would say, listen, this is the most important aspect for me in my business and my experience in terms of data-driven video, and then what that means to you is something for the audience to take away from this session? What would be that one thing that you would your experience that you would suggest that you do first? Maybe over to you, Mauricio, for that.
Well, in our experience here in Brazil, as Antonio told, it's quite difficult to have a formula, because as we understand our audience, we have a lot of niches, a lot of clusters inside all the audience. One thing that's hidden gems here in Brazil that we are performing very well is a CSI, like a Brazilian show, and exploring murders, famous murders here in Brazil, and just performing very well. And when you see who is consuming this show, we get from teenager to ancient. So all the time we are seeing a lot of surprising things. I think all this industry is very, very new for us and for everyone, for everybody. So we are learning during the process. So we are doing a test A and B to understand what is performing better, but with the Netflix phenomenon, that we could see a Korean movie, a Iceland movie, a Turkish soap opera. All the week we are receiving catalogs from all over the world. So understand these hidden gems is quite an art. So we need to get all the information that as good as we can from our audience, and try to figure out, to understand what is better to deliver to them.
So yeah, it's testing and learning, really. And I know, we've all got data and machine learning. I noticed that Mahmoud Tuscan on our questions there is just talking about thematic curations, categorizations. How tips and suggestions that we have for looking at how we might classify content. But I guess that goes into cataloging, metadata management, and then it's keeping an eye. It's watching, as you just said, Mauricio. It's machine learning, but watching what works and what doesn't. And then Antonio, back to you with your customers, being engaged with the content, across social channels. So going back to you, Antonio, what would be your one thing anyway? That,
we believe in the engagement. We believe in new tools of interactivity with the users. Not just let everything to the algorithms, right? We need to get firsthand as much as we can from the users, from multiple medias, not just traditional social media, but also inside the same platform. There's a lot of options and possibilities that you are able to find out, what are the likes, and we believe this way of engagement give you a lot of information, and very useful for you to translate into a personalization experience. So yeah, we vote for engagement and interactivity.
Yeah, that's coming across strongly. Yeah, to me, engagement, learning. You've got massive investment in technology, which is fantastic, which has to pay back, of course. And it sounds like there's also a role for maybe in Casper, where he hinted at a few minutes ago, the horror club part of Blockbuster.
Yeah. Let me add something extra.
Antonio.
Just because of the interaction that we get with the community, starting on Thursday, this Thursday, we will have right here in our office a live show, 1 hour for Zumba. Zumba class.
Yeah, sure.
And this goes into the platform. We will be just having it here, green screen, some background, a camera, and go directly live into the platform. So there's a big community that we start launching at the beginning. What type of content would you like? We put a lot. And again, this seems to be, everybody is right now, a lot of people is at home.
Yeah.
So it's a good content, very easy and cheap to produce. Just the talent and put some music and go there.
Community, direct to community again.
That confirms that we have a lot of niches inside our audience. That Zumba
absolutely
is a niche that likes that. You could see the cheat screen that won seven Emmys, just became a phenomenal in the last season. And
so
for 4 seasons,
he's here in Miami.
Hidden gem.
Fantastic.
Yeah. He's here in Miami.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You Latin guys, you get away with everything with the Zumba live shows. And fantastic. How about you? Any key takeaway for you?
Key takeaway for me. I think key takeaway is that there's a lot of data out there, and you just have to use it for something, and it might be a first step and a second and a third step. It's just about using the data, being for creating a live Zumba session or whatever is out there in demand. I can share with you that we have actually looked at some external search engines to find indications of what the audience is actually looking for, in order for us to give some maybe a new angle to what we should present. Finding a hidden gem, you have to have someone who agrees that this is in fact a gem. So yeah, it's all about finding your inspiration, I guess.
Thanks for that. Yeah, good. Yes, good, honest answer about the mixture of technology and also human, entrepreneurial knowledge, I guess, that you're all involved in for your clients and in case of your business, Casper.
Yeah.
So listen, panel, can I just thank you for your contributions and for your thoughts and on this session. And thank you for this morning, for your input, and this afternoon, Casper. We'll thank and ask our the people who have been watching and listening to carry on contributing on the Slack channel. We're very interested to hear your views and this view on hidden gems rolling into the rest of the sessions this afternoon and this morning in your times. So, gentlemen, on behalf of yourselves, can I thank you and then thank our audience for joining us this morning and this afternoon.
Okay.
And on behalf of everybody, I wish everybody a good rest of Summit. Thank you for joining us.